and the 3 cultures.
Accountability in the 3 cultures!
I love the 3 cultures.
If you're wooing, you don't know what that is, just keep doing it because you're going to be wooing afterwards. Okay, so you've heard a little bit about my story. I started just 2 years ago in a few months. To be honest, I signed up thinking this would be another flash in the pan, literally. So many other things I'd done before, not direct sales, but weight loss, you name it, anything. So I ended up fast tracking in my first 90 days, promoted to advanced director in just shy of a year, and I've remained a strong recruiter through my time with Pampered Chef. But in January of this year, I became frustrated, right? Why was I the only person recruiting out of our entire organization? It's the best thing in the catalog, right? Who thinks it's the best thing in the catalog? We know that, right? And then I realized what was going on. I was not communicating to my team through training or incentivizing that recruiting was equally as important as selling. I changed our team name to include the word recruiting, which seems so simple, but every time they went to the page, they saw recruiting. Every time they posted, they saw recruiting. And it was right there next to selling, which is huge and was huge for them. I trained them how to recruit. I supported their recruiting efforts, and I rewarded them for growing their teams. My organization has always been focused on recognition. Shocker, right? So I knew that the change of mindset with how they would now be running their businesses would need to feed into something bigger than themselves to get them excited. This is when I decided our organization would go for an executive team promotion in 2018. On top of just recruiting, I knew that we would need to focus more now than ever on teamwork and activity and career plan advancement. And I knew I would need to lead the way.
So my journey with Pampered Chef is very different from Steve's. I started, you guys heard a little bit ago, 5 years ago, to actually quit a job that I hated, making just a little bit more than minimum wage. I was really stressed out, and I was actually put on heart medication for the stress. And as you know, my mother called me one day and told me to start. So, we were really going through a hard time then, and so much so that my church and my family were paying our bills almost every single month. So I started this to get out of that job and to get in a better place, but it took me 9 months to be able to stay home with my 2 kids and quit that job that I hated. It also took me 2 years to promote to director, and then a year after that to promote to advanced director. And I was actually well on my way to promoting to senior director. I had 2 directors on my team. I had a second gen who was 1 away from promoting. I also had another first gen who was close to promoting as well. However, last October, I lost my advanced director title, only for a month, because I have the lovely Robin here. Woo! But then I lost one of my directors, and my 2 leaders actually were just taking steps backwards from where they were. But I'm happy to report now that my team is now growing again, and we are working hard to get into executive director structure by the end of the year. So you can also see that some of our goals are the same, but we just may achieve them at different times in our business. So what happened? How did I go from a team that was moving forward to a team that was dying? And then how did we change our culture so that our team was growing and thriving again? So before, I was not intentional with my culture, and I really didn't have a foundation in place for a strong organization. Now my team culture is completely different. So I know, as Stacy has taught us many times, that if you wanted team culture to change and to be strong, you have to know, teach, live, and protect it.
So your commitment to teamwork and monthly activity is truly where you create your team momentum toward whatever the next goal might be, right? So this is where you create the buy-in on the part of your team members and leaders to want to work towards towards an overarching objective. Now, think interactive challenges to get them inspired to book, sell, and recruit. We talked about this with the power plan, right? Outside of the normal, of what we already know what to do. Opportunities for leaders and even team members to train on something they are doing and having success on. Your monthly team Zoom or team meeting is also majorly inspiring to other people. So, in the idea of, slow down, thank you. Teamwork and monthly activities. So, a couple things that I do to spur this. We do challenges to spur activity. So, We did bingo last month where all of our team members, we pitched the idea of filling up a bingo card that they would post on their personal wall to have other people comment to fill the space. Like, I live in New York, or I've been to 4 different countries, or etc., right? This is something that doesn't scream, book a party, help me, help me, help me. It says, let's play something for fun. You lead in with, I'm gonna message, oh, thanks for playing the game. I'll message you with a fun, with just, check out your inbox for a fun message from me. It then moves from that kind of chat about whatever they clicked, or said they were for the bingo card, and then it leads into the talk about Pampered Chef and booking. And there's language that you can use to do all of that. And then we also did this Go for the No challenge, which is not new, but every time we do it, it blows up our bookings 80 plus a month. We run it, and we run it for literally a week. The Go for the No challenge, the whole idea is for your team members to go for 100 no's. How many of you have a new team member that signs up, asks 10 people to book a party, and then they say, nobody wants to do a party with me, I just shouldn't have signed up to do this? Anybody?
Yeah.
Okay, they're not asking enough people, and you telling them they're not doesn't sink in that they're not. They need to be a part of it firsthand. We also did a Christmas in July booking and recruiting bonanza, so there were the challenge was put out, and there was incentives for them to be able to earn prizes, Amazon gift cards, what have you. We do power half hours at least twice a month. They're free for all to just pop in and not talk about the business. Sometimes it's just life. Sometimes it's what's up, what's happening. Because little do we know that informs us on what's happening with each of their lives. So that maybe it is not a good time for them to be booking and selling. What can we do to help with their situation? Post daily on your team page. The post should elicit a response from your team members. Recognition on their personal Facebook walls for the top 10 across organization and on my personal team is huge. It's led to many bookings because people see that obviously the person who's the consultant is getting their hosts a lot of free stuff, and so why don't they try that opportunity to host? And then we share our team goals, thanks, on monthly team Zoom calls.
All right, so a lot of the stuff, when we were planning this, a lot of the stuff that Steve just mentioned, I do as well. So I'm going to talk about more things that he does as well. So a lot of this stuff overlaps for both of us. But here's some more things that I do that really encourage teamwork and monthly activities. So one of the things that we do is have a team goal banner. So every month we put up our goals as an organization up on the banner so they know how many bookings do we want this month, how much do we want in organizational sales, and how many team recruits or organization recruits do we want. We have a team booking goal every month to help us reach our sales goal. So this is really important where you guys sit down and look at your numbers every single month and are planning out how many bookings did it take you to get the amount that you want, and then base that off of your team booking goal.
Do you base that on your team average? Can you
Yes.
set that?
Yeah. And then we add extra bookings in case of cancellations and all that kind of stuff. We do green by 15, so everybody should know what that is. If you don't, it's basically if you're green by 15, your name gets put into a drawing for a free gift. We recognize them on the team wall for being green by 15. They get recognition on all our team calls as well for being green by 15. I do hashtag do and tell. Basically, they get to brag about themselves when they do income producing activities. So it can't be, I just made pasta and posted a picture. It has to be, it's happened.
Although that is nice.
Yes. It has to be things like, I contacted 10 people in the past hour about booking a show, or I asked my friend or my host about the business. So income producing activities, they post it, they brag about themselves, hashtag do and tell, and at the beginning of the next month I do a drawing for $5 from Amazon. We do special recognition for every person who is green in the current month on the team wall and then also on the team Zoom calls. So even if they weren't green by 15, I still want to recognize their hard work in contributing to the team, so they do get some recognition for that as well. And then beginning of every month, sharing our goal to be advanced director structure. But then you're going to get to a point, because we're talking about our power plans too, that you should be also doing this like the very end of the month, so that going into the next month they know, okay, we have to be this structure every month. So I share, this is what it takes to be an advanced director team. This is what our goal is every single month, so they know that we as an organization have that goal. Okay, so after you put into place your culture for teamwork and monthly activity, you need to make sure you're focusing on fast-paced recruiting growth. Yes, so first make sure you are leading the way. If you're not recruiting, your team will not recruit. Next, make sure you are...
Wait, say that again, because that's so important.
If you are not recruiting, your team will not recruit.
recruit.
Next, make sure you are working with your directors or future leaders, because there are people in here who don't have any directors. Make sure you're working with them on your team to set team goals together, as well as working together to share those goals to the team with the team. And finally, make sure you are training your directors and future leaders on systems to support growth.
So for fast-paced recruiting growth, here are some things that our organization does. You want to set a monthly and yearly or quarterly recruiting goal and update them on it constantly. When it is transparent and in front of them, they are more likely to feel a part of it and therefore hold themselves accountable to perform to help you reach it. Make sure your team members are trained properly on how to recruit. The words one uses, I have found, are very important, and sometimes it's really important to offer them up to your team members because they maybe aren't the best at packing that little pretty package together to get it there. And offer to do three-way opportunity chats with them. Sometimes they're not ready to take that step, so they need you at the table to lead it, and then they can listen and learn from you. If you're onboarding a new consultant, and this is really new for me, but it has blown up. If the consultant is not local, consider pairing them up with someone else during their first training and doing an onboarding on Zoom. This is a great way to have new consultants develop accountability partners. So when they have a buddy, they are more likely to stick around. They're in it together from the jump. We run our opportunity events, our own, at least once a month, sometimes twice. This month we're running them every single week because of the $29. Yeah. I do the three-way calls with the recruiter, again, listening in on how to train them, and then I've been working on keeping my team members aware of how they are doing with achieving points for the incentive trip and training them how to track and set goals to reach those incentives. I then highlight those who are on track for the incentive trip on our team Zoom call. So people see, wow, it's actually achievable at whatever level, depending on how hard you want to work and gun for it.
So for me, I really struggled with recruiting, but I knew that, like I said before, my team would not recruit unless I was recruiting. So I learned how to become a skilled recruiter. I created a system that worked for me so that I was averaging the 2 recruits a month. And I learned from every single person who was good and successful at recruiting and skilled in that area so that I could be good in it as well. So just if you struggle with that, learn from somebody else on how to recruit. I meet with my director in person, or we talk over the phone or whatever at least once a month so we can set goals together. Our goals mesh so that when one achieves, the other achieves. We are a team. I did a Zoom training on how to create a strong start binder and walked through with them on the call what each of those calls should look like with their new recruits. So it's basically a train the trainer kind of call. This is how you train your new recruits. We just recently did something called Share the Love Challenge, and we kicked it off. It's a 10-day challenge. We kicked it off where if they do these challenges by a certain date, they get entries into whatever you may want to give. We were doing a PC logo item. So the first, yeah. That's right.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah. So the first one, we kicked it off by them listening to me doing the training on recruiting on Coffee Talk. So they listened to that, had to fill out a survey on what they learned and what they were going to implement. And then we went from there for daily things like, are you creating your recruiting notebook? Are you, and then the next challenge was write down all your hosts' names in the notebook. The next challenge, write down all your rock stars in your notebook. So basically just every challenge was baby steps to recruiting that then led to them either asking somebody about to join the business or signing somebody. So we share our recruiting goal board throughout the month and how we're doing on reaching that. So kind of like Stacy with her garland change thing. So we have a board that we share. It's our Lucky Charms board with clovers on it, and I share as we update how we're doing and how many we've had them in the month. We also do Baby Steps to Recruiting Incentive, which we just started recently. Again, we are rewarding the actions of recruiting, not just when they recruit. We want them taking the steps, and we want to encourage that. So we are going to be doing Happy Mail if they do basic things, like did you ask all your hosts this month to join your team, and you'll get entries into the Happy Mail drawing. And again, monthly hashtag do and tell is a great way. I asked my host, hashtag do and tell. And we just started a cash pot, which I learned about recently. Basically, if they did recruit, $2 would be put into a cash pot every month. So you recruit somebody, $2 put in for that person, and at the end of the month, you do a drawing. And if a director wins,
pass it on.
all the money goes into the next month.
I do that too.
So that they can, it keeps growing, and they'll recruit for
And you know
money.
what? I tell them they have to come to team meeting and claim their money.
Yes.
If they don't show up at team meeting and I draw their name, they're not there, the money's gonna go to the next
Yes, they have to be present.
So hardcore.
So I just started that one. That one I learned at the lead.
Get some to meeting.
I learned that at the lead, and I just started that one. But that's a great way to incentivize recruiting on your team.
Awesome. So career plan advancement. Who wants that? Okay. So one of the great things about this business, as Stacy says, is that no one has to die for you to go all the way up, right? The sky is the limit, okay? And the more individuals we identify and move up the career plan, the closer we get to our own personal goals. So it's essentially a win-win for all parties involved.
It's not a pyramid?
It's not a pyramid. No. No.
How many times do you ask that question?
Not a pyramid. No, we sell a product.
So when you have, so here are some things that we do in our organization towards career plan advancement. So when you have a new recruit and you have your first call, encourage them to stretch themselves in their first 30 days past what they are comfortable doing. Some people will sign up and say, when you ask them how much do they want to make, they'll say, oh, just some fun money. And I say, well, you can really make that fun money times 5 if you just follow my lead. So let's go ahead and stretch ourselves and go toward that $12.50 in your first 30 days, because you probably signed up as part of this to get that selling incentive that we offer in whatever month, whatever that may be. Yeah, right? When they achieve that, I found them to be empowered and interested in what's next. This is when I tell them that they're on their way to being a strong personal seller, and this is half of what it takes to be promoted at the director level. The next Get the More You're Looking For events, I think they're called something else now, but they aren't? Okay, great. Scope out your future leaders. A brand new consultant who is super excited is a great lead for your next director. I can tell you right now, we did a Get the More You're Looking For event after an executive call I was on. One of them is in the room right now, fast-tracked, after she was in that group, Lonnie. She was in that group. At the end, I said, who wants more? Lonnie said, I want more. I said, let's go. Next after that, we had a director-bound program that started the Sunday after the Get the More event. So all of those people, I told them the expectations for that. After they said they wanted more, I said, here's what's next, the director-bound program. Constantly run those, or 6 weeks to success, whichever you're comfortable doing. Who knows what 6 weeks to success is? Pretty much. Is that everybody? No? Yes? Mm-hmm. Don't be afraid if you don't know what it is. Okay. 6 weeks to success is a...
Whoa,
6 weeks to 6 weeks to success, not success, is basically, it's
6
like...
weeks is a long time.
It's basically a way to introduce people. Well, it's a way to help them sharpen their skills in booking, selling, recruiting, customer care, things like that, before they go hard into saying they want to move forward with director plan. Sorry with the word choice. Stop it. I said okay. Never mind. All right.
Did you say hard?
Yeah. Sorry. Who's watching this? Is anybody gonna be watching this? Okay. Hold a monthly meeting with just your directors, even if you just have one. It could be a phone call. There should be recognition, training from you, and also they should train the other directors on something they're having success with. Every month we have a director call, and I ask a director to share something that they're excited about that they're doing. One, Megan shared just recently that they hit 10,000 in sales that month. She had a tracker. She kept it in front of them and said, "This is what our goal is," and they were all invested in hitting that goal. So I want them to share because they should be teaching other leaders as well, not just me. Hold one-on-one calls with them each month. Be informed of their personal goals and coach them toward them. Meeting them toward meeting them. Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry.
Okay, so here are some of the things that I do to encourage career plan advancement. So I have done a One More training. I'm sure you guys have heard about this before, but one of the big things that you can do with the One More training is that you can teach them about what would one more person on your team look like for your income and lay it out for them. There's more to that training than just that, but it's really helpful for them to see what income they can make if they just have one team member. I share the team vision board on our team wall, so that would be this. Yes. When onboarding new consultants, I make sure that they know recruiting is just part of the job. So I do not ask if they would like to recruit. Ever.
Yes.
Never.
Yes.
So I just say to start thinking of people who would or could need a Pampered Chef and to invite them to their grand opening parties and to talk to them about Pampered Chef. And I also let them know that it's their job to ask, it's my job to train. So I have had people recently go, I don't want to be like you and a director, and I said, that's okay, I'm going to train them. They're like, okay. And so they've already started making their list of people that they're going to talk to about it. I also talk about Fast Track on the second Strong Start call, which if you guys are not doing Strong Start training, you need to. Stacy worked hard on it and it works, so do it. And then you congratulate any promotion. So not just the director, but really push the fact that they have promoted in any level. So as soon as they get to that senior consultant level, you need to be making a big deal about it. So I post on the team wall, I post on Stacy's wall, and I post on their personal wall. So I put that all out there and they get lots of recognition for it. And I have had people say, that's one of the best things is when you post on my wall. So make sure you're doing it. And then I also send them a postcard when they promote to congratulate them as well. You could also do some small gift, even for senior consultants. I know we make a big deal out of director, senior consultant, and team leader. You can still send something small to say congratulations for their hard work. Okay, so the next one we're going to talk about is actually personal accountability. So we've talked about our 3 cultures. So accountability comes next. And this should be familiar to you guys, but in the book, The Wisdom of Oz, it says that accountability is a personal choice to rise above one's circumstances and demonstrate that ownership is necessary for achieving desired results. So accountability is key for keeping those 3 cultures strong.
Yes, so I'll start off with some of the things that I do for my own personal accountability. So sometimes the systems we put in place and train our team members, they don't always work for everybody, right? So we say, here's the system, do it, it's going to work. Sometimes it doesn't always work, and so what do we do then, right? We have to make sure that we're transparent with them. I will occasionally post a snip of my sales for my shows that are closing that week to give them a sense that I'm a real person, and my shows don't qualify sometimes too. So then they understand that, wow, I'm following what Steve has taught me, or in this case, what you've taught your team members, and maybe this is just a bad week. Maybe I'm having a couple shows that aren't qualifying. That doesn't mean I give up. That means I move forward, okay? Next, all my leaders will welcome new team members and celebrate the wins of the team and their teammates on our team wall. In all of my director-bound programs, we train them that we do not work towards minimums, and we lead the way. We also, I stole this from LEAD, which is a leadership program from Home Office, that they have 2 passes they can take in my director-bound program. If they miss a live Zoom call or a homework assignment, they are out of the program, and they know that going into it. So there's accountability that they're going to show up every week of those 6 weeks and be engaged and do their homework. That's it.
And I will say on that we're doing one together right now, and I've had several people go, I don't want to use a pass on one-on-one calls with them, so it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay, so to have personal accountability on your team, we want to make sure we're not allowing negativity on your team wall. So that's not allowed. It's a no-no on our team. So if someone is negative, the team actually comes together to help that person turn it to a positive. That way we're not breeding those things below the line, as Wisdom of Oz is. So it has even gotten to the point where people will share that they're struggling, but they will turn it themselves and say, I'm having this issue. Can you guys help me overcome this issue? Instead of just complaining about it. They take responsibility and know that the outcome of the situation can be changed for the better if they take action. So also, either one of the leaders on my team or my director will post, or I will post motivational quotes on our team wall. We just take turns doing that because we want them to be seeing something positive all the time. And then I do one-on-one calls with my leaders to encourage them to be reading personal development books as well. Again, we want to be filling ourselves with positive, uplifting things and learning, and not going down into that pit of despair, right? So when someone shares something that could be considered negative on our wall, I will comment and turn it to positive if nobody else does. So for example, they may say, I don't have a full calendar.
Worst.
Yeah, I don't have a full
Hearing
calendar, and I've gotten 10 no's so far today. So I would say something like, that's amazing. I love that you never give up and are working hard to get your business where you want it. Go for those no's. You are one step closer to that yes. I am proud of you. Yep,
Great.
that's it.
So do you want to move forward with the next part, or is it timing?